What does this look like to you? Whose bones are these? Well, this is what the scientists propose it looked like. Now, what does that look like to you? A monkey, a raccoon, or a lemur? Does it look like grandpa to you? Well, this is what some of the scientists were saying, that these are our ancestors. Some time ago, scientists found this fossil. They paid over millions of dollars to buy it. Wow. Anyways, the scientists called it the most significant scientific discovery of recent times. It was published in newspapers, there were documentaries. It will finally confirm the theory of evolution. Our earliest ancestor, the missing link, is found. Articles were published, documentaries were made. It was named Ida. Ida was famous for being our ancestor. Well, was it? Soon after, other scientists started doing research on it, and they did not agree with it at all. They didn't even think it was an ape or a monkey at all. Some scientists said this is actually a lemur. One of the professors of the University of Texas published saying many lines of evidence indicate that this has nothing to do with human evolution. Too bad. Once again, the scientists were proved wrong. So that wasn't the missing link. Then where is it? Where is the missing link? Well, at least the scientists admitted that there is a missing link, missing evidence for evolution. This wasn't the only time, by the way, that this happened. Nebraska man was another one of these examples. In 1922, a tooth was discovered in Nebraska. With a little imagination, the tooth was connected to a made-up jawbone, and the jawbone was connected to a made-up skull, and this made-up skull was connected to another made-up skeleton, and the skeleton was given a made-up face, features, and fur. And soon there was a picture of Nebraska man, and this picture was then advertised and presented in newspapers and documentaries that we have found another ancestor of human beings. All this from one tooth. But guess what happened? Sometime later, an identical tooth was found. And this time, the tooth was attached to the skeleton of a wild pig. So it turned out that wasn't a man's or ape tooth at all. It was a pig's tooth. Then there was Java man, which is still regarded by many as one of our ancestors. What was Java man though? All they had was these three parts. And in fact, even them, they didn't find all together. One of these they found a year later than the rest of it. Of course, once again, it was widely advertised. Documentaries were made on it. News was in the papers, magazines. But a few years later, a team of 19 evolutionists determined to prove that Java man was real. It was our ancestor. They went to the same place that they had found these parts. And you know what they found? They found exactly the opposite. They found that Java man couldn't possibly have anything to do with human evolution. Once again, too bad. That's not it. Sometimes people even lie and commit fraud, like the Piltdown man. This is famous for being one of the greatest frauds in the history of science. This fossil was presented as one of our ancestors, one of our ape ancestors. However, it turned out to be completely fake. But for over 40 years, people believed it to be true. And many years later, they found out it was a total lie, fake. Then there was Lucy, which is once again considered to be one of the major discoveries. But this is all they found of Lucy. In fact, even when they found it spread across a wide area, far away from each other. These bones were far away from each other. Isn't it possible that it wasn't one, but more than one creature? These are just a few examples. But this happens again and again in the evolutionary science. In fact, and as we can see, a lot of the time scientists are just interpreting, imagining what the animal may have looked like. They are just guessing what it might have been. We must remember that evolution is historic science. Nobody really knows what happened 5,000 years ago, let alone 1 million. Let alone 1 million or 10 million years ago. As Allah says in the Quran,
ما أشهدتهم خلق السماوات والأرض ولا خلق أنفسهم وما كنت متخذ المضلين عضدا.
I did not make them witness to the creation of the heavens and the earth or to the creation of themselves, and I would not have taken the misguiders as assistants.
we were not there. We don't really know exactly what the world was like or what it was like when Allah created it. The only knowledge we have is what Allah gives us, and the rest is us just guessing. Scientists are able to get some information from millions of years ago, like the ones we saw above, a teeth here, a skull here, a few bones there. They find it and they try to understand what these things were. At times, it means trying to put together little bits of information together to make sense of it. Now, if you have ever played with Lego, you understand what I mean. There could be many ways to put information together. A lot of the time, that's what scientists are doing when it comes to evolution and making stories about how a certain animal may have evolved. They have developed methods to make it more precise, but it is still about interpretation. And in fact, these methods are still far from perfect. And in fact, even though majority of scientists in the West may agree with evolution as a whole, they don't all agree with every one of these stories and the methods and the mechanisms of evolution. Many scientists today are working on building a new theory of evolution because they see so many problems with the current theory of evolution. They are trying to make up their own theory of evolution, how things evolve if they evolve. So clearly there are many problems with evolution. It is hardly proven. As Allah says in the Quran,
وَمَا لَهُم بِهِ مِنْ عِلْمٍ إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ وَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يُغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا.
And they have thereof no knowledge. They follow not except assumption, and indeed assumption avails not against the truth at all.
Guess is not like the truth, and what we are doing when it comes to evolution, especially when it comes to evolution over millions of years ago in the past, is just trying to guess. And guess is not like the truth. Truth is certain, true is true. Truth is the Quran. Quran is true, and science is just us guessing, trying to understand how the world works. Sometimes our guesses are right, and sometimes our guesses are wrong. But the truth is always true. So how can we take their guesses, which turn out to be wrong again and again, guesses of things that happened millions of years ago, to be true over the word of Allah, which has never been proved wrong? No way. If the Quran says the first man was a human being, and one Adam alayhi salam, and from him we all came, then that is the truth.